Okie dokie. So this is your bar style workout. The bar style more so is the standing Pilates. When we move into elements of more of a classical Pilates, it will involve more of your mat-based work. If you actually want to do some, because we're going to have some push-ups, if you want to do them elevated against a wall, against the low down or the height of the back of the chair, entirely up to you, or worktop, or whatever it is that you've got to hand. Also, we've got some downward facing dog movements. So we're going to have some wrist work if you want that to be elevated, or you want to use some yoga blocks or something else just to help you take some pressure off, or even come down onto the forearms should you need that little pause without actually stopping. So there's that to consider. So to start with, what we're going to do is we're going to warm up. And we're just going to take ourselves, so I'm going to step back a little bit. We're going to take ourselves into some diagonal lunges off to the left and to the right, but I'm not going to do it as a reverse, it's only a forward. So I'm just going to step and drop and come back. So already I'm thinking about from the base of my pelvis, out through the crown of the head, and into the idea of a strong posture and a strong core to help me. So it's a diagonal lunge. We're going one side and the other. I just pop my hands onto my thigh as an addition if you need it. If you want to pop hands on hips, that's also an option. Otherwise, you just keep those hands and arms free, as it were. Trying to get to your best depth for the back knee into that right angle or there and abouts. And then the same is true of the front leg. Trying not to push just for the sake of pushing. You're stepping nice and deep, dropping into that space. And you're just giving me one more each side. Center and pause it. Lovely. So anytime you need any stretching or releasing, use the chair, use the wall, kick out ankles, shake out arms. You know what to do. From here, we're going into just the very calmest version of a step back, because you've got curtsy lunges coming your way as we move into the main part of this workout. So I'm keeping my heel up. I've just got a very light bend in the front knee. I've actually got quite a straight leg behind me. And when you're on your own like this, in terms of no arms, no depth, it actually probably goes a little quicker. So still think posture and core. And then we're going to slow down, have more of the curtsy lunge, and have a side bend to go along with it. So again, you might pop your hand on to your thigh. Step it back, sweep it over. Breathe in, breathe it out. It depends how deep you want to get down into that back leg. And then the same is true. How deep would you like to go with the arm up and over the top? Next one, last one though. And pause. Lovely. So from here, we are coming into a little bit of a kind of yoga-esque opening for our chest. So I'm just going to have us step into a lovely big deep lunge. We're going to have, if you can do it for me, all the toes, all the orientation going straight up. So I've just turned some straight up the front of my mat. We're going to sit down into a lovely pressurized lunge, as it were. So front foot planted, back heel planted in the same way. Trying to engage through from the pelvis again, lift up, thumbs up, and just give me a nice chest opener, and then gently fold to the front and pull out. If you'd like to over exaggerate, you could pull the elbows back a little bit more. You might even gently look up and lift the chin. For the moment, I'm keeping my gaze more on the neutral side. And then here, just turn, so I do have my heels in line, turn into a yoga version here of a lunge, which just means we're in a warrior position. Give me the T-shaped arms like a warrior two, and then let's just sweep those arms, that top arm, back and around. So we're just gonna pull, we're gonna reach, we're gonna open. All about your posture, rounding through these legs. Give me one more. And here, we just do the opposing stretch. So this is actually a warrior one, but you'll slide down that back leg to open up the front hip for me. When we step through, you're already there for me. If you can, stay put and just gently, and it doesn't actually have to be to a full-on flat back. You can just have a little bit of a hinge into a wide standing forward bend. If you want to have a little stretch and reach over across on that diagonal, you could do a couple on their own like that, and then maybe you just get a touch lower. And actually, this is another one. You can have your chair in front of you and the base, the seat of the chair, you pop your hands onto. We're just going to reach up and over, so a wide leg, stretching, reaching side bend. We've got on the angle stretching here, and then one last one coming down. Just because of the orientation of the camera, I'm going to step up and change, but you're okay if you're all right to do it, to just turn the other way. I'm just going to make sure that you can always see me. So I'm just going to take a second and do that slightly different angle. So it's heel to heel again. Bend that front leg without leaning too far in, and give me those warrior two arms. This time, let's go up and over. So reach, stretch. Breathe in, breathe it out. T-shaped arms, slide down, stretch over the top. Last one. And then if you can, and again, I'm just going to change my angle slightly. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side so that you have got that side bend stretch. Reach and reach. T-shape, stretch it. One more. Lovely. I'm just going to come in. So the very first movement we had was like a lunge position where we had a nice big calf stretch. So just make sure you're on the other leg. My right leg is now my front leg. Lifting from the pelvis again. Lifting if you can this time. Actually, it comes to the side. So you can have a little extra tuck and a little bit of pull. And we'll just stretch ourselves out to the chest without opening the arm. Just holding on. Then from here, just give me that nice deep rounding with a big push press away. And pause. Just step on in for me. So, as mentioned, we have got up here, we've got down there, we've got somewhere in between. We might need a chair, an additional support. You might need to pause or pause me. You might like to do, if I say we're doing a single side, you might actually like to do one and then the other. It's sometimes a calmer version if something's feeling like you want to keep working, but it's feeling a little much. You always have your water to hand. Make sure you got your ventilation. Make sure you've got enough space around you, and we're going into those curtsy lunges. So we're going to try a curtsy lunge with a just with kickback, and then we're going to have kickback arms. So kickback for legs will come in a minute. Kickback for arms, I just mean let's get into the idea of working your triceps, and the kickback might be straight arms, it might be palms out. If you want to hold light dumbbells, you absolutely can, or you're going to make fists. Sometimes the fist activates biceps and triceps, and you might like that. So this is going to be a left and a right. If you want to start in a first position, sometimes that opens you out nicely to leave that lovely angle at the front, and that will be your curtsy. But equally, have the parallel legs. So when you're ready, and I'm just going to go back to the first position. When we're ready, we're going to work for about sort of a minute's worth of time. So breathing in, lift through the crown of the head from the base of the pelvis, and give me kickback arms. So it's not the most vigorous of movements. We're still warming up, as it were, but hopefully you feel you've got a handle on your core. You've got a handle on the idea of getting deeper, using the core and creating that strong line out through the crown of your head. And if you're able to, you're just guiding yourself down, but not compromising that chest. So keep your chest lifted. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little bit more here as we move towards the end of the minute. Stay on one side and kick back. Press, press, press. 3, 2, 1. Lift up. You need to release the hands, dude. Gently drop down, little hinge, shoulders, kick back arms. Keep pressing. If you've got the dumbbells, you'll be a little bit slower than I am because I've got body weight here. We're in charge, when you've got body weight, of your tension and your resistance. Out we come. Don't shake the hands so you've got the dumbbells. do put them down. So we can always, like I mentioned, have a little pause, have a little shake out between. If you have dumbbells, you can pop them to the side because we're just going to do a kind of sweeping movement here. What we've got is basically we're kind of sweeping through a wide plie or a side-to-side movement that over time, as we add and add repetitions, you may get down to the floor. What you might like to do, only do a single side, as in start off with the double, the side to side, then do a single side where you're going to come to a chair because you don't want to, or flexibility is not there today to get you lower to the floor, but you want to do that next option. So, as mentioned, what we're going to do is go side to side through this wide plie. So, all I'm going to do, start one side. As I sweep, I'm going to press, so you can press on one side through the lunge. You can come together and press and push out onto that opposite. If you want to start again and do a side to side with that wide plie, there's always those different options. It's that first position, it's a wide plie, and again, you don't have to have a flexed hand or flexed hands, but I'm going to drop down, press it out, just so that you can open up your joints. We get into the idea of support, so I'm going to, when I come to the floor, I would like to be able to have my hands down, heel of the hands down, but for right now, you're actually working the core to support this push-out movement to work your upper back. You're working the legs. We've got a touch of cardio going because we're not stopping, but here we are with just a couple more like this each side. Press and press. One more each side, get lower in the legs, hold it, pause, hold it. So from here, not as easy to transition from being up here to going down there. So that's why you might like the midway. Still think core and posture. So from the base, wrapped around, like to my tummy button, wrapped around. I still need to have not so much rigidity, but the posture check rather than collapsing at all. And so what we're going to do here is we're just going to step and step. So if you need to have a curtsy lunge in, because a curtsy lunge is helpful, so you might do one leg up, one side, pop a curtsy lunge in the second, instead of kind of throwing the leg up one side and then straight away the other. So I'm going to stick with that as a kind of warm up. So as I step down, I might lift up. I'm not pretending that I can do the splits or get my leg up very high at all. This is probably going to be it for me. So that's why I say if you want to do this, where you've got your hands on to the bottom, the base of a chair or a cabinet or something, when you're going up, that leg, that line is a little bit more of a straight line. So I'm going to do curtsy, I'm going to step up and kick. So it's like doing a little split of the kind of warm-up idea to a handstand. We're not going to a handstand, but that would be the kind of next progression. There might be a few steps in between, but we're not going to go there now. That's for another time. Here, just give me curtsy, drop low, step and lift. And the next one, we'll do the last one. Add your curtsy and pause. So all I need to do is think. Think, use my brain, go on the other side and see what's available. So you'll have the other leg going down into the support, other leg up in the air. Come out of it and give me a curtsy. If you need, and I'm giving us a little time, but if you need a water break at any time, please do. So now we're going to go over, step, gently sweep. As I come up, I've got that check for the posture. You don't want to go down. You give me that version of a curtsy lunge. If you're okay to really get the chest on the thighs, let's give that a try. If you have a different flexibility on one side to the other, it really does not matter. What I would say though is try on this leg lift, on this leg extension, to actually engage the core a little bit more than you need and give yourself a chance to hold what effectively is a hamstring stretch. Hold it through the front leg supporting you and the back leg elevated up there, pointing that toe, reaching behind you, and just giving it your best for me. You may or may not be quicker than me. You may be using a chair or additional support midway here. But the aim of the game is just keep going, challenging the core, challenging your flexibility, and just make it work for you. We're going to do 2 more, so finish the one you're on, then give me 2 more. Up and out, pause, drop down. Last one. Add that curtsy, and pause. Again, what we can have is a little bit of a walk around. So stay calm in terms of making sure you've got lots of room to breathe through the chest, the upper back. Breathe into the belly, so don't hold on to the core for the entire time. Grab that water break if you need to. What we're going to come on to now, and I should say sit, not dog, because we're going to do a down dog. So we're going to put, this is quite a classic, so this is quite a nice little transitional. It's Pilates, it's yoga, it's barre, it's upper body work, it's core work, and it's the very basics of holding and using upper body strength, lower body strength, and core. To go from a downward facing dog, which is effectively your triangle, into that flat back, where everything's beautifully in line, and you're going to hold a plank. If you want to come down onto the knees, give me an all-pause balance, or an elbow plank instead of the full straight arm plank. Always options that I will leave to you. You know your body better than I. Just going to change my mat, just so that I've got a little bit of a better angle. I'm at the back of my mat. The first one's going to have a roll down, but otherwise stay there for me. And we're going to work for sort of that 30, 35, 40 seconds of work from one to the other, where we're going to flow nicely. So come with me and roll down. Let's walk out. If you can, give me your best version of the down dog with the calf stretch, with that core engagement, with the upper body working. For me, I take a step forward, and that's my way to come down. I come nice and flat, and I do the same thing. I just don't need us to do loads of reps. I would prefer good quality ones. We push into your heels. We walk it through. We hold it. Try to keep those lovely lines from the heels all the way up to the crown of the head and out through the top and the front of your mat. Let's do a couple more together. So you may just get a little bit quicker just because you're able to engage the core and get it kicking in for you, supporting you. Let's push ourselves. One more. Down dog for me. Here we go. Into that plank. Maybe zip up the legs for me and just hold this just a touch longer. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's soften. Down onto the knees, open those knees, give ourselves a child's pose or any other stretch and release that really does help you. I'm just going to transition, because we're coming up, I'm going to do a couple of cat-cow. Might as well whilst you're here. And then if you want to step up, you can step up. I'm going to down dog and roll up. Do it nice and calm. And then when we're up here, again, it might be an idea for you to have that additional support to your side. So this is going to be a few different variations on a theme, but it's our heels. So we're going to take ourselves through. Oh, sorry, that's a bit later. Just ignore that. I was like, what's coming next? No. So we're actually coming into a lateral raise. So we're going back to the idea. I warmed us up in the curtsy, so now I'm adding more. I forgot a whole series here. But anyway, more curtsy lunge. If you want that support, it is helpful. If you would like to go into curtsy lunge and a leg raise, but you're going to give me a single side and you want that extra support. I just thought I was doing heel raises, but that's coming later. So would you like to join me and do single-sided now? Would you like to be away from additional support and give me curtsy lunge and toe tap, or curtsy lunge and leg raise that does have a side to side? So I'm going to start us with a side to side just to warm it up. I'm going to let the timer run, and then I'll move us straight onto a single side. So I'm going first position again. I'm going to drop down. I'm going to tap. Then I'm going to lift. I'm going to zip the legs up, zip up, swap sides, drop, point my toe, and put the leg lift. If you don't want the leg lift, what you can do is just give me a kind of rigid stop, as it were, with the pointed toe. Then you go down and you step. If you want to get into a curtsy to a leg raise, which is on the angle, not so much necessarily just lateral. It's out there on the angle, zip up, and you can carry on going side to side, which I'm going to do just for one more. And then here, should you want to give me multiples on the same side, maybe bring in that support. I'm going to do right leg. I'm going to just pause, start the timer, and we're going to do about sort of 20 to 30 seconds. One side with a toe tap and a leg raise, or straight into the leg raise. You can still zip up, pause, go back down, and you can take it at your own tempo. Zip, glutes, inner thighs. It's not a speedy movement, and I'm actually quite enjoying putting my toe down, zip up the core, create a little bit more oomph through the posture, zip up. But if you're ready for it, let's zip up, drop down, lift. Would you like to have your arms come with you? So we can go down, up and out. Breathe in, breathe it out. We just quickened up just a touch, but not at the detriment of all of the movement patterns, all of our core work. One more. Perfect. If you've been doing side to side and you would like to have a little pause before doing the other side, because you know I can't be trusted, that was not 20 seconds. So would you do the other side? It's going to have quite a lot to chit chat through. So if you did a single side with your chair or your support, over it goes. Do it in the same way as me. Do it in your version. I just don't mind. I'm going to get that timer going. I've got the posture back again. I'm going down, tap, leg lift. Let's zip it up. So I want you to use your core, and that zip up's coming from the pelvic floor. We're keeping that lovely posture. So the essence of barre is a lovely standing posture. Zip, drop down, curtsy, tap, lift. If you're good to go with the drop and the lift and the zip, you don't have to put the arms in if you don't want to. Breathe in, breathe out. I'm going to go down, up and out. You've got about 15 seconds. Give it your all for me. Last and final of these. Breathe in, breathe it out. Inhale, exhale. Keep going. Last one. Woo! Nicely done. So again, have a little stretch and release. Have a little water break. Whatever you feel is good. Maybe just loosen off a little bit. Wiggle out. We're going to come back. I'm just going to wander and breathe. So we're just going to come back to the idea of those bicep triceps. We're still going to have the idea of a curtsy. So if you've had enough of curtsy for any number of reasons through the hips or inner thighs, you could give me a parallel squat. You could keep both legs down. I really don't mind. If you want to have one heel up, you could give it to me in a hinge, one leg up, and then when we do the other side, you do the same thing. So it's just a heel up. Otherwise, like I said, I'm putting in more inner thighs. So time-wise, we will go with that back heel up and a hinge, roll back shoulders, kick back arms, and you're just going to press into your legs. It's not a lot. I'm just pushing down a touch, but I'm kicking out with these arms. We've got this. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, stay there. Just reach up through the crown of the head. Stay low. Pulse it here just for 5, 4, 3, 2, and pause. Anytime you need a stretch, please give it to yourself. Listen to the body. Ankle wiggling might just be a nice idea. If you have the parallel, then you're up on the other toe. I'm going to do that little mini first position. Get the kind of engagement through the inner thighs because they're close to each other and through the pelvic floor and that pelvic lift. And I've got a little cross behind me. Slide down, little micro hinge. From here, we are actually going to have either palms or fists or dumbbells, but we're going to go to the side. Let me just come up more, excuse me, centrally. Are we ready? Breathe in, breathe out. Same idea. Little mini push into these legs. It's subtle, but it's going to work. We're going to feel it. Everything adding together. You can put dumbbells in here, but what I need you to remember, keep the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the shoulder blades down your back. Elbows in line with shoulders. No more. Let's do 3, 2. Hold the arms. Little pulses. Push down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. So this is a classic one, just to kind of have flick out, flop out, roll it out, anything, any of the above for the arms. So you could gently swing them out, open the chest. You can have it going the other way. So you could let them flop down and drop down. And if you need a little bit of head, neck, shoulder mobilization, pop that in for yourself. I'm just going to do a slow opener and just hold that stretch from my chest. Breathing into that, breathe it out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try ourselves at basically the same sort of idea where we've been doing a single and a double option. So you decide, support or no support. And what we've got, instead of that leg going on the angle, which wasn't quite the lateral, but it was on that sort of 45-degree angle from the curtsy lunge, we're just going to do it from a parallel and we're going to come straight in front. So if you would like to hold the support, and I just dropped, but just sit into the supporting leg. You can have a pointed toe or a flexed foot and give me without touching down. So when you've got the pointed toe, it's just easier. If you would like to tap down, if you want to give me a heel, you can lift. If you've got something that you do need to hold on to, please do. So you can give me toe tap and then flexed foot. So you're going to give me a straight leg raise for now. I am tapping, then I'm lifting. So I'm actually, when I'm lifting this leg, I'm giving myself a lower abdominal crunch. So let's do 2 more. 1 more. And then same leg with the timer, so I know where I am. We're going to come into a little micro, so it might be that lifted leg that's helpful, a squat, and then I'm going to kind of flick the heel up. If you want to give me onto the tiptoes, hinge and drop, and you just want to point in front, but you don't really want to lift too much because the 2 movements combined, that's a nice alternative. So see where you are. Are you ready? Same leg. Parallel squat and then lift it. Drop down, heel flex or pointed toes. Sink low, lift to wherever that hip and your core supporting you allows you to go. Time-wise, we're going to do 30 seconds one side and then repeat that on the other leg. But we've got to do our leg raises on their own first before we do the squat. 1 more. And pause. Lovely. Again, any stretching or pausing you need in between, just press pause on me. But we're going to go to the other side. So if you have that support, bring it on round to the leg that's supporting you and staying put. And then we'll go in with those leg raises. So same idea. You can have the core engagement to lift you up, but it might be that you have a little tuck or a little drop because you've got the bent leg with a bit of support. With the bent knee, which is what I'm going to do. Shoulders back and down. Tummy engaged from the base of the pelvis through my tummy button, up, pulling in and up through my rib cage. And then same idea, you can have toe tap, or you could come in, out, lift. You could have the toe tap to the flexed foot. You breathe in to this posture, and then you ground down on that exhale. Engage those lower abs in that V shape, all the way down to the very base of your pelvis. Let's have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Perfect. So from here, I'm going to put the timer on so that we give it the exact same as side number 1, which is the little elevation, your nice deep squat with a heel raise, and then lift that leg wherever it wants to go. Are you ready? Hinge down. When you're up, I'm going to kick. And I'm going to pause, slide down, pause, engage. If you want to kick this leg with more of a soft knee option, please do. If you want to give me some with a pointed toe, some with a flexed foot. All options are good with me. Just keep moving. 5 seconds. 2 more. 1 more. Woo! All done. Lovely, lovely. So again, might be a prime time just to have that water break for me. Walk it around, flop it out, stretch it out. So we're actually coming from up here to down there, and we're coming into some push-ups of the variations where we hit different muscles. So I want us to work the chest in our classic fashion. I'd like us to do a diamond, which I'll just show you up here. It's going to be thumbs together, first fingers together, and that's going to hit our triceps. And you just might not have the same amount of depth, so just be mindful of that. Elevated version, I don't mind. Back of a chair or much more elevated, where you're at the wall or there's a worktop or a tabletop, that means that you're not all the way down. So those might be kinder options if you have any wrist issues. Otherwise, just give me more control, less going through the motions, and that ultimately is probably less reps and better quality ones. So no need to roll down unless you want to. I'm just going to come on down because I'm just going to move that mat. We've got kneeling options, we've got split leg options, we've got full plank options. Where are you with these? For the classic, you're probably better off going all out because you've got a nice wide positioning through the chest. So for me, I will always talk you through a positioning that has you. I'll just walk back so you can see it. But where the mat is, you've probably either got your hands either side of it, depending on if you've got a slidey surface, or you're kind of 3/4 off, a little bit on, shall we say. And if you need to, then there's a classic box position. If you can give me a little challenge, knees back, lean forward, mini version of this, but really still lovely, strong core work, down and up. Where are you for these? We're going to do about 15 seconds, so you don't need loads in that time. But I'm just going to lift myself up, zip up my legs, slide into that full plank, and then down, press it up. Inhale, down, exhale, push up. Breathe in, breathe out. You've got about 5 seconds. And then if you're elevated, you can always stretch it out in a down dog. If you're here in a full plank, pop down on the knees, but it might be helpful to maybe open the knees and have a little chest stretch for a moment. And the same is true, any of that flicking that we did earlier with the wrist really might help you now. So wiggle, flick, shake, all of that. And then we're going into, same idea, which is about, excuse me, which is about 15 to 20 seconds of your diamond. So I've just done my full plank. I'm going to stay on the knees. Where would you like to be? Let's do it together. I'm going to zip up my knees. I've got that diamond shape for my hands. I'm going to walk back a little bit, not crazy. Breathe in, breathe it out. Inhale down. Press into the whole of your hand to bring yourself back to your start position. Try not to lock the elbows out. You're just pushing up and out through those shoulders and shoulder blades. Almost there. One more. And pause. So same idea. What you might do is just have a little, I'm just going to open up. Have a little stretch back to open the chest, and then if it's appropriate, this you can pop in that head mobilization. It helps with neck mobilization. So just go with the flow. Where are you with this? How are we feeling? Stretch and release. Gently does it. And then we're going to come on up from here. So from here, we're going to do our version of a palm up bicep curl. Oh no, come up. I say come up, I mean come up halfway. So I want us to go, let me come on the angle. I wanted us to do a little mini version of, it's kind of like a hybrid of your side plank. So I meant come up from the full plank, come on the side. So you can give me on the elbows, you could give me hips down. You could give yourself the hybrid version where you've got the bottom leg still lifted from the pelvis rather than collapse. Lift the breastbone, lift the chest, lift the rib cage. And you can elevate here, but what we're going to do is we're going to do something with the arms. So we're going to bring up to work the bicep. We're going to turn and press back. So if you'd like to just give yourself a second and do the arms first. Again, try not to lean forward. Lift up, elbow in line with hip, chest open. You're going to sweep up and you're going to push away. So you're going to scoop up and press away. So you're really actually working the shoulders, biceps, triceps, upper back. If you want to put a light weight in here, please do. I'm just going to put my hand down to put my leg up. So you can have that leg extension. You're going to sweep and then press away. So palm up, in and up. I don't really mind where you go with that. It's really relative to you. Mine's sort of coming towards my face, and then I'll push it up as though you're going into a classic hold, which is your side plank. But just keep breathing through for me. Press it out. Let's do 3. We've got 2. And there you pause. So if you just want to come up and give me a little mermaid the other way, it's just going to stretch through where you've been supporting yourself. And then from here, just a classic, again, I might bring us down to the knees together option, on the elbow option, but equally, a straight arm, which I'll demo in just a second, is a lovely one. Tucking through and just give me, thread the needle that has more stretch and release and hold element to it than it does hard work, as it were. So would you like a slightly different angle? You can have that hand out, tuck and lift. I'm not saying it's easier or harder. You might feel it differently through your pelvic area. Wherever you are with this, bring yourself through and reach it up. So I kind of like a bit of both. So I might go back down because I might get more wrap underneath. And then I might just have more of a comfy option for stacking those shoulders rather than feeling like I'm tipping or the angle wasn't quite right. Whatever you've got, give me a hold with the arm. Give me the leg out. And if you can meet the other leg, you can stay here. If you want to split those legs, could you lift for me? Breathing in, breathing out. Let's hold for 3, 2, 1. Come on down. We're just going to flip over to the other side. You've got a little reprieve whilst I just sort my mat out. And then same exact idea. You're going to go with the flow. Where would you like to be for this? So this first one, probably your better option is on the elbow. Palm down, elbow down, forearm down. Good posture checks for me. And it's that palm up, kick out. So just check you've got room behind you. So palm up. You could be holding a dumbbell. And then pressing out. Let me move that so you can see that a little bit better. So as I come through, it's palm up. When I come out, it's palm out behind me. Try not to collapse. Try to keep the open posture. If you do want that leg out, you might find that you get a little bit of work over that hip or supporting yourself through the core and the obliques just a little bit more. This dumbbell, a light dumbbell here, will get tough. So you don't need a heavy dumbbell if you want to add one, but you press it out. Obviously, you'd be holding for more of a bicep curl because you'll be squeezing. So if anyone wants to change instead of the palm up, you can make a fist up and you could have palm out. I'm just going to do 2 more. Press it. 1 more. Press it. Same idea. Would you like to go with the straight hand? Would you like to do that option first before the bent elbow? If you've got the straight hand, it might be a nice idea to split the legs and tuck under and open and sort of take the rigidity out of the hips so that you have that little extra range of motion to open up into this. So you breathe in, you breathe it out. Equally so, you might glue those knees up. You might lift out through the chest. You might lift out through the crown of the head. You might lift out through that elbow, reach a little further out or tuck a little further in because you have decided to stay here on the elbow. Everything, like I said, has its pros and cons. You pick it for your body and what you want to get out of it. Last one. Let's hold you. Can you straighten those legs? You could stay here. Put the top leg in front. If you can, lift and hold. We got 3, 2, 1. Down we come where I am. I'm just going to roll round and just have that pause, a tuck release. Tuck, release. Cat-cow for me. And then let's tuck your toes and bring yourself up through that down dog once more. Nice and slow. Up at the top, we need potentially your additional support once more because we're going with a heel raise. And if that doesn't feel confident, just because for whatever number of reasons, pop it in that chair, that cabinet, whatever you've got. If you want to do a totally zipped up version, again, zip up inner thighs into that pelvic area. Let's go back to that good posture. Otherwise, stick with the parallel because you don't know what's coming. But we've got some double heel raises. If you're able to, connect straight away. So I'm soft when I'm down, the heels are down. When I'm up, it's in, it's lifted. So I've got glute squeeze, I've got pelvic engagement, I've got that push out of the exhale, and it's working together. So remember that for yourself. I also have shoulders down and shoulder blades kind of pulling down as though they tuck into my trousers. So it's all working to support you. Breathe in when those heels are down. Remember the core, remember that lift for me. So you keep going as is. If you want any challenges that haven't got the squat in them, you lift and hold. You zip up, you check through those points. You don't have to touch your body, but I'm doing it to show you. But you just check. Where are you in terms of this hold? When you come down, would you like to give me a walking version? So you've got that little split squat back again we did earlier. Or are you able to lift, double heel raise, slide down, still remembering that posture, remembering the core from the base of your pelvis from here. Then you could give me a little walk out and then you could zip up. So zip, hold, slide down with the heels up, hold it again. Remember those posture cues, walk it out. That's the heels going opposite to each other. Then both up and up you come. This one just hold for me. And then this one, you're going to slide and hold. No walking of those heels, so just hold it. You need that support. I don't mind which side, but hold that support. Breathe in, breathe out. 3, 2, 1. Micro pulsing. Just push down, down, down. You got 3, 2, and pause. I've got one last variation. So if you just want to open up and you want to kick it out, or you want to wiggle out through those ankles, or you need to open up through the hips a little bit, this might be helpful. We've got one more little option, which if you don't like it, go with one of the other ones of this heel version, the heels elevated version we've just done, that little mini series. Otherwise, I mentioned about the zipping up. This is where we're going to do it. So chair for support if you need it. Heels up, zip, and you're just going to give me little twists. So I'm doing it here, free from a support, but I'm going to try and keep those heels up. Connect from the pelvis, keep the good posture, so we don't need to tip forward. We're just going to move side to side. So just recapping that before we go into it. Oh, just going to pop the timer on as well. Are we ready? Lift those heels, zip up, knees, inner thighs, pelvic area as a whole, holding on to you. And then knees go together, one side and the other. You're just twisting through your waist for me. If you want to lift the hips and do a different variation instead of a twist, that might work. Otherwise, I'm going to try and keep with that twist. I'm just using my arms as that counterbalance. 3, 2, and pause. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Brilliant. So done and dusted with all the hard work. Release through the pelvis, release through the core, and you're going to slide down from this wide plie. Just slide down and just roll and puffer and press and drop these shoulders. Don't have to look at me anymore. Just look down at the floor. If you want to hold it, you hold it. Drop down a little deeper. What I'm going to do is lift up, turn my feet. Actually, I'm just going to go on my mat. But turn my feet into a parallel. You're okay with letting the head go. Just let the head go. Breathing in, breathing out. And then when you're ready, slide up, stack the spine, Still working those inner thighs, still lifted through the core. And over you go. Have a nice low, reaching, stretching, pausing hold. Micro pause in between. Over we go. If you are okay to do so, turn so that both feet go the same way, but you don't have to turn them entirely. And just give me a nice stretch right over the top for calves, hamstrings, lower back. And then up you come and walk it straight round to side number 2. Same thing. If you need to hold lightly through the shin, or you've got that chair in front of you again, pop yourself on there. When we come up, we're just going to keep those feet zipped up. We're going to lift up and we're just going to do a side bend that has a half roll. So we're not actually coming down into a standing forward bend. We will do that in just a second, but I'm just giving us time to do half in, half out with a little angle change. So I'm just going slightly on the angle. You don't have to have the legs zipped up, but I'm coming down. Here, let's pause, let the head go. Breathe in, breathe out. If you can interlace those hands, push up, push out, return to the top. Big wide circles with the arms, interlace the hands, flat back, dive it forward, hands onto the lower back, soften your knees if you need to, one hand in. You can give me to the side, you can give it to me with a bend, and then you can open up. So you can lay your chest on your thighs, open the upper back, and then release to roll back out the top. And then we are all done. Woo! Well done, you. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope we enjoyed that, and I hope it hit the spot, and I will see you very, very soon.